About Dr. Ramon Morinkola joins us now to continue our focus on what to do and talking about the Ebola outbreak. Morning, thank you for coming on today on the program. As a matter of fact, I mean, about this, we heard the minister speak about this, and of course, you know, you can't talk enough about this. It's something that has to continue. From your perspective, I mean, you're a practitioner here in Lagos. Are you in any way concerned? I mean, of course, you have to be concerned, but is there any sort of panic with medical practitioners now? Because lots of people even heard that a female doctor who attended to a patient had contracted it. Even those who were not practitioners concerned about all of those. So how much more practitioners like yourself?
Yeah, thank you. The concerns, that should be inherent, that's expected. Because as a doctor, we get in contact with patients, and unfortunately in this environment, we are in Malaria's endemic region. When people see patients coming down with fever, the first thing that comes to mind is malaria, which means it's likely that the patient will be around you being treated for malaria, whereas it's an Ebola virus patient. So the concerns are there. We get contact with patients frequently, and you are not sure which one is which. And aside, it's not just about having contact, physical contact. You go to the level of taking body fluids, breaching skin, you understand? And there are lots of our colleagues that get needle prick injury during the process, you understand? There are surgeons that go invasive, you understand? Maybe you are doing surgery for a patient. And if you come to think of it, a patient with Ebola virus may come down with gum bleeding. And the first thing that will come to mind is, when a patient comes to the hospital, you may call a dentist, you understand, to examine the mouth, or you call ENT surgeon or specialist to examine the patient. You know, during the patient exam, you know, the patient has to open the mouth, he has to look in, basically the patient breathing into him and breathing into the patient. So it's cause for worry.
Is the virus easy to detect? I mean, in the lab, is it easy to detect the virus? Is it one of those viruses you have to go through several processes before you can detect it?
Yeah, it's not a virus that's easily detectable. But as a doctor, especially when you have high index of suspicion, there are things that should be pointers towards possibility of Ebola virus. For example, like the case that happened in Lagos, you know, it's one should actually give kudos to the doctor because of his level of the astuteness. For example, he came in, saw a patient with fever. He clearly noticed the social history of the patient, the travel history coming in from Liberia. He tested the urine, found blood. Do you understand? Based on that, he asked for blood tests. Do you understand? So it's not easily detectable, but you have to start from somewhere. That's why you can't screen everybody for Ebola. Do you understand? There are few labs that can do that. There's a lab in Luz that can check. There's another one in the university, a private university that can do that.
Okay, we understand that when patients who have it start manifesting the symptoms, of course, it will be difficult for you to even move around. But there are those who are asking now that what if a patient takes a bath in a stream in the village, which is the source of other drinking water as well? Are people going to be at risk?
Definitely. You know, permit to say that Ebola issue is more of like epidemiological thing. Let me explain myself. If we don't have a perspective of the community, of the society, we just shooting ourselves in the leg. For example, at this point now, there should be serious and intense campaign against unnecessary use of public facilities, public toilets. You understand? You should be careful. Even when they are in place, there should be there must be what's it called, precautionary measures. For example, at this point, all public toilets must have a means of disinfecting users. Did you understand? For example, either soap, 70% alcohol. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, talk less of, we're talking about a village with a stream. Somebody with suspect is going there to have a bath. That means the whole village as well as gone.
But what if the person had not started manifesting the symptoms?
Yeah, you know, we've said that Ebola, incubation period Ebola between some say 2 to 21 days. Do you understand? And during this period, patient is not contagious, it's not infectious. So if it's within that period, it's unlikely that it will spread. It will be spread.
So the likelihood of a patient who has become contagious of going to the stream to have a bath is definitely very slim, because we understand that when they are sick or when they're very, very sick, which is when they actually become contagious, they are too weak to move.
Exactly, and that's another dangerous point to look at it. The fact that when a patient can move, patient is not contagious, is an advantage in one way, but it's also a disadvantage because it spread across states, across countries. That means if you decide to fly out of Nigeria, for example, and you're incubating Ebola, you won't be detected at the airport. No fever, you are looking okay. You board a plane with more than 200 passengers. You're way to maybe Atlanta or UK.
And you could begin to manifest on board the plane.
You may begin to manifest on board the plane or after getting to the destination. So that's another danger associated inherent with that. If we're talking about, if the situation was that within 2 days of infection, patient becomes contacting the illness, patient becomes symptomatic. Oh, maybe the international spread will be limited.
Let's look at, the minister was saying something about efforts being made to enlighten, to contain the spread. What's your reaction to the effort he laid out?
Well, sincerely, we have to commend Nigerian government. We know that we've been talking about this Ebola as far back as March. I've watched so many interviews, even on channels, where people were interviewed about Ebola. I watched one that a woman, a dealer in Bushmeat in a local area, was interviewed, asking her about Ebola and trying to educate her. So Nigerian government has been doing, well, to some extent, doing well informing the public about Ebola. Now, the issue is that it can never be enough. We all have to be involved. Just like what we are doing now. Other NGOs should take it as a point of duty, because, you see, going around educating people about Ebola, in fact, somehow it's like a law of self-preservation. You're trying to protect yourself. Because you don't know a victim that will get in contact with your relative, your family member. Do you understand? So going around trying to educating people about Ebola, you understand, or spending energy on Ebola prevention is like protecting yourself.
Are you not spreading panic?
Okay, panic. Well, I'm not spreading panic. What I would say is that it's better to be informed, you understand, than to go blindly. For example, in a village where stream is a source of water for drinking and bathing, and let's say there's a what is it called, like the pipe-borne water some few kilometers away from the village. If you educate the members of that village, I'm sure people will decide to take the pains of going to a nearby pipe-borne water, you understand, rather than use the stream, which will be dangerous.
As a medical practitioner, what are your concerns? Do you share any concerns, especially considering the fact that the people who have been fingered so far as, you know, contracting it are medical practitioners?
As a medical practitioner, I'm concerned. My concerns are, one, that when these patients come around, any patient that is ill will be brought to the hospital. You understand? And except if you have a very high level of index of suspicion, you may not detect on time. You understand? You may actually go on doing some procedures for the patient, which may put you at an additional risk. Also, my greater concern is for the public, because I'm just one in my nuclear family. Do you understand? My kids, my wife. If this virus gets out of hand, it means the life of the kids, my children, their lives are not safe. So what we are saying is that we should be bothered. It's not about trying to spread panic in society. You understand? It's just about trying to arm people with information. If you know that mere hand washing with soap will prevent you contracting the disease, you understand? Will help go a long way in prevention, or 70% alcohol. If you know that alone, will go a long way in helping you. For example, if after well, shaking lots of people, you understand? People actually discourage handshaking now, or you shake, immediately you shake your hands. If you have a hand sanitizer, or 70% alcohol, whatever contains 70% alcohol, you can quickly cleanse your hand. So that's what we are talking about. There are concerns. As a doctor, there are concerns. But the greater concern is what happens to members of society. Because we are also members of society.